Good morning. My name is Jamar Harry. I'm a Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Howard County Executive Calvin Ball. Thank you all for joining us as we share our Howard County initiatives to address and reduce landlord-tenant issues. Before I introduce our speakers, I'd like to introduce some of our elected officials. On behalf of Howard County Councilmember Liz Walsh, Mary Latourie. On behalf of Howard County Councilmember Deb Young, China Williams. And with that, I'd introduce our Howard County Executive, Calvin Ball.
Thank you so much, Jamar, and good morning, everyone. Today, as we talk about housing, we're really here to talk about home. Because a home is not just a roof over your head. It's where our children sleep safely at night. It's where our families heal, grow, and plan for the future. And it's where dignity should always live. In Howard County, approximately 30% of our households live in rental housing. That means nearly 1 in 3 of our neighbors depends upon a landlord not just for shelter, but for safety, stability, and peace of mind. Unfortunately, for too many tenants, that promise has been shaken. We know that some renters are living with serious habitat challenges, including mold that threatens their health, pests that invade their space, and broken appliances that make daily life unbearable. These conditions are not merely inconveniences, they are risks to health, to safety, and to human dignity, and far too often are not addressed in a timely manner. Our Office of Human Rights and Equity has received housing discrimination complaints every year that range from refusal to rent to unfair lease terminations. Our Office of Consumer Protection has received, on average, 600 landlord-tenant inquiries and 200 formal complaints every year. And our Department of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits has issued, on average, more than 2,500 rental housing violation notices annually. These are systemic challenges, and they demand systemic responses. Across our country, we have seen what happens when these issues go unresolved. Prolonged habitat concerns can push tenants into impossible choices, including withholding rent just to secure basic repairs. That path helps no one. It harms tenants, it harms landlords, and it harms families and neighborhoods, destabilizing communities. In Howard County, we're choosing a different path. No tenant should have to live in unsafe conditions, and similarly, no landlord should be left without the tools, clarity, and support to meet their responsibilities. And that's why today, I'm excited to launch our transformational Landlord Accountability, Investment in Quality, Victim Protection, and Eviction Prevention, or LIVE initiative. This innovative initiative means that we believe every resident deserves to live in a home that is safe, fair, and dignified. Through LIVE, we are strengthening rental housing enforcement, expanding education resources, improving interagency coordination, and creating new ways to resolve disputes before they escalate into a crisis. Today, I will sign an executive order directing our Office of Consumer Protection to significantly expand outreach and education for both landlords and tenants. We will translate our landlord-tenant assistance publication into 5 additional languages, reflecting the beautiful diversity of Howard County beyond the minimum required law. We will also update those materials to include more legal resources, rental assistance, and utility assistance information. This matters because landlords are required to provide this publication to tenants, and these updates will ensure more residents understand their rights and are empowered to seek help when needed. Through this executive order, I'm also directing our Department of Inspections, License, and Permits to update its rental housing checklist annually, and to translate that checklist into the 5 most prevalent languages spoken in Howard County. At the same time, our Office of Human Rights and Equity will increase outreach to landlords and tenants around fair housing rights and protections against discrimination. We're also breaking down silos and building bridges inside county government. For too long, residents have had to navigate multiple offices, file duplicate complaints, and relive difficult experiences just to get the needed help. That is unacceptable. Under LIVE, we will create a shared information and complaint process between our Office of Consumer Protection, our Office of Human Rights and Equity, and our Department of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits. This will streamline responses, improve efficiency, and ensure residents are supported, not shuffled, opening doors to access a better quality of life. And we will make enforcement and education more proactive. Today, in my upcoming proposed budget, I am committing to expanding our rental housing inspectors and to increasing staffing in our Office of Consumer Protection to strengthen conciliation and arbitration efforts. This will help us resolve disputes earlier, fairly, and with less harm to everyone involved. However, with the strongest systems in place, we know that sometimes eviction becomes a sad reality, often because of circumstances beyond a family's control. A lost job, an unexpected medical bill, a financial crisis. But in those moments, compassion must converge with action. Through our Department of Housing and Community Development and our Department of Community Resources and Services, we already support eviction prevention through the Community Action Council. Just last fiscal year, we provided $150,000 in eviction assistance. In my upcoming proposed FY 2027 budget, I will be doubling our investment and committing $300,000 to keep families housed and stable. Finally, I will be submitting legislation this week to our county council to strengthen tenant protections during the eviction process. This legislation will require landlords to provide at least 14 days written notice to tenants when a warrant of restitution is issued. It will also require that notice to include new, user-friendly county-created resource link, informing tenants of eviction-related information and assistance. And it will establish penalties for failure to comply. This additional time can mean the difference between displacement and stability, between crisis and resolution, between losing a home or finding a lifeline. At its core, the LIVE initiative is about accountability, but it is also about compassion. LIVE is about ensuring landlords have clear expectations and the support they need to be good landlords. LIVE is about ensuring tenants have rights, resources, and respect. Live is about ensuring that government shows up, not just with rules, but with humanity. I believe that housing justice makes our families and our communities healthier. That safe homes create stronger neighborhoods, and that when people are supported, everyone benefits. Today, we are choosing to live our values fully, boldly, and together. Today with Live, we are once again leading with love. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. Now I'd like to introduce our Office of Consumer Protection Administrator, Tracy Rezvani, to discuss how her office supports landlords and tenants.
Good morning. We have, since 2018, when the landlord-tenant law was first enacted, been a great resource, I hope, to landlords and tenants alike. We regularly take in calls that say, can I do this? Can they do that? What are my responsibilities here? What are my rights? And we have always strived to help the parties resolve the disputes informally. When things do break down and complaints are filed, we are continuing to bring that spirit to the conversation, because ultimately our goal is to make sure that folks are able to continue to maintain a good working relationship with their landlords and with their tenants. And so that is something that we will be continuing to bring to this relationship with the new initiative for the arbitration program. As far as education goes, we have always provided webinars as well as in-person programming, and as well as our inquiries, where we help people either face-to-face, on the phone, or by email. But being able to provide these additional resources and in additional languages really does enhance our existing goal in providing that kind of education and support. Looking forward to this year, every year we've held a landlord-tenant conference, and it's been in person and it's been fairly well attended. But this year in April, we will be doing it as a webinar series in order to be able to be available to folks on their time. And it will be recorded for folks who are not able to still make the webinar series. But in April, for Fair Housing Month, we will be hosting a lot of different agencies and departments to be able to talk directly to the tenants and the landlords about all of the various patchwork quilt of laws that apply to this very important relationship. And we hope that everybody here is able to attend at least one of those events. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Now I'd like to introduce our Director of Housing and Community Development, Kelly Simino, to discuss her department and their efforts to support tenants.
Good morning. The Department of Housing and Community Development has several tools that we use to assist our renter households. The first is the Moderate Income Housing Unit Program. This program requires developers of new housing units to include a percentage of those units to be rented at below market rents to income-eligible households. Currently, there are 836 MIHU rental units in 28 communities throughout the county. A list of these rental communities that offer these below market rents can be found on the Housing Department's webpage. Under County Executive Ball's Home Initiative, the department designed housing programs to assist school-age children and families and students attending Howard Community College. The Family Home Start program, administered by Bridges to Housing Stability, with funding from the Housing Opportunities Trust Fund, assist income-eligible families with children enrolled in the Howard County Public School System. Last year, more than 80 families received assistance with payments for the first month's rent and their security deposits so they could find and maintain stable housing. Another program under this initiative provides a 2-year rental subsidy to students attending Howard Community College. The department provides funding to the Columbia Housing Center to administer this program that served 48 students last year while they continued their education. The Housing Opportunities Trust Fund also supports the Older Adult Rental Assistance Program. The department partnered with the United Way to administer this program. In 2025, 49 older adult households received up to $800 a month in rental assistance to help them remain safe and stable in their homes. The portal for new applications will reopen on February 16th, and interested residents can find the link on the Housing Department's webpage. In addition to working with our nonprofit partners on these initiatives, Howard County is part of a regional fair housing group that includes Anne Arundel, Baltimore and Harford counties, as well as Baltimore City and the City of Annapolis. This group meets monthly to discuss fair housing issues and concerns that affect residents in the region. The shortage of affordable rental units is a concern throughout the region and the state. The Baltimore region's Fair Housing Report was completed this past May. This report details the actions that each jurisdiction will take over the next 5 years to address the need for more housing in the region. Currently, the Department of Housing is working with the Department of Planning and Zoning to create and preserve affordable rental housing units throughout the county. We are also working with the Office of Human Rights and Equity to engage in fair housing testing to ensure that all residents are treated fairly. And in April, as Tracy mentioned, we will participate in the Landlord-Tenant sessions. Thank you, County Executive Ball, for your continued support of renter households in our community.
Thank you, Kelly. Now I'd like to introduce our Director of Department of Inspections, Licensing and Permits, Bob Francis, to discuss how his department supports our landlords.
Good morning. The Department of Inspections, Licenses, and Permits has a rental housing section that is within our Inspections Enforcement Division. We license thousands of rental units representing tens of thousands of apartment units. As the county executive mentioned, we take approximately 2,500 notice of violation issuances every year. And quite frankly, that average, you know how averages work, a low and a high. The averages are on the way up as the rental stock in the county becomes older. The challenges become a little bit more challenging. We adopt the International Property Maintenance Code for rental housing to address livability issues and habitability, I think is the word, habitability that for the rental units.
That's what happened when you try to.
Although my colleagues and I work very collaboratively internally here in the county, that doesn't always translate to what the public sees, and they may have to come to us or to Consumer Protection or to Human Rights and Equity. The County Executive's Initiative will help streamline that and make it easier and more simplistic for the residents who need and deserve our services. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Now I'd like to introduce our Administrator of the Office of Human Rights and Equity, Ms. Lakeisha McLennan, to discuss her office's role with landlords and tenants.
I will be brief. The Office of Human Rights and Equity applauds County Executive Ball for advancing a coordinated, equity-centered approach to landlord-tenant relations. Fair housing is a civil right, and this executive order helps us ensure residents are informed, protected, and supported, particularly during moments of housing instability. OHRE is committed to working alongside our partners in a more streamlined, collaborative approach that will strengthen our outreach, education, and collaboration so that every Howard County resident can access housing free from discrimination. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Now I'd like to introduce our Director of Department of Community Resources and Services, Ms. Jackie Scott, to discuss the resources they provide to tenants.
Thank you, Jamar. Thank you, Dr. Ball, for this exciting opportunity for us to advance what we do in the community to help serve and support those residents that need us. I want to reiterate the theme of collaboration and coordination so that everyone understands that we know that it is tough when you're entering in, for example, to a new space, a new county, and you're trying to understand what resources are available, how to find a place to live. Or you might be an older adult transitioning from one place to the other, or a family trying to live. No matter what you're doing, the place that you lay your head at night, the roof over your head matters from a social determinants perspective of how we do our whole person work. Your emotional, physical, mental, and physical well-being is in that place at which you are able to call home. This LIVE initiative will help us provide more services in a more streamlined way with all of the partners here. We have the no wrong door philosophy at DCRS. So we know that we're often the first stop because when you're thinking about how to manage these systems, it can be overwhelming. So we want you to know that there are ways at which you can reach us in the community. You can call our care line at 410-313-CARE, 313-2273. Or if you're an older adult, you can use that MAP line for these housing resources, and that is the Maryland Access Point number at 410-313-1234. And if you just don't know and you're unsure of where to go first, call our main number at DCRS, 410-313-6400. And to our nonprofit partners like CAC who are on the front line, and those of you serving people every day who need places to live and are looking to live in this county, please know that we will continue to support those folks that come your way with needs by the funding that comes through our office into our community to help those keep the roof over their heads. And then lastly, I want to say to those of you who are landlords, who are management companies, we are a resource for you also. Please know that our pulse is on the community. We understand what people are facing. So when you know a resident is in need, before they reach that deep end cliff, call us at one of those numbers. We can step in beside you to help your resident to ensure that they can stay healthy and whole and live a full life in their residence. Our goal is to keep them there, keep them safe, and keep them healthy. Thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Ball, to continue to support our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackie. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce you to the President of the Community Action Council for Howard County, Ms. Tracy Broccolina.
Good morning, everyone. Your Community Action Council of Howard County has been addressing the causes and conditions of poverty for over 60 years and enabling families and children to be self-sufficient. Our housing and eviction prevention program has been part of our core services for decades. We are in the business of prevention, and that includes preventing homelessness. With a variety of funding sources, including that from MIHU, as well as the Community Services Partnership grant funds from our county government, our housing assistance program helps households with eviction notices, past due rent, and even their first month's rent. We will ask households that need assistance for documentation, including proof of residency in living here in Howard County, income, and your lease, so that we can help you best. Any family that needs assistance is encouraged to apply the minute you find yourself falling behind. Please don't wait until you're several months behind in your rent. The minute you can't come up with that first $100, get in touch with us. The easiest way is to visit our website, which is at www.cac-hc.org. We are here to offer you a hand up to keep families and children housed. We're deeply grateful for our community partners who keep the needs of our neighbors in the front of mind, especially our friend Dr. Calvin Ball and his team. We look forward to this future and this initiative so that we can continue to help our neighbors and help them stay housed. Thank you so much.
We want to thank you all for being here as we announce this important initiative, and we thank you for the support as we continue to address these issues with tenants and landlords here in Howard County. Thank you very much.